Welcome to myprepclass.com. This tutorial is basic triangle measures helping you with your GRE, GMAT, ACT, and SAT prep. Within this tutorial, we're going to cover three topics. First, we're going to look at different types of triangles that you might come across in your studies. Then we're going to look at how to calculate the perimeter of a triangle, and then how to calculate the area of a triangle. First, looking at different triangle varieties that you might come across within your studies. The first type is a right triangle. Now, a right triangle means it has one right angle, or a 90-degree angle. That is the definition of a right triangle. And just as a side note, all three angles within a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Next, we have an isosceles triangle. That simply means that two sides are equal in length. You can see it notated here that with this hash mark in each of the sides, indicating that they are equal in length. Similarly, we have an equilateral triangle. Notice that all three sides are notated as being equal in length, meaning they have the same symbol in them showing that they're equal in length, and that is an equilateral triangle where all three sides are equal. Additionally, within an equilateral triangle, all three angles are equal, and if the total triangle equals 180 degrees, each angle within the equilateral triangle is 60 degrees. Finally, at the bottom left, we have an obtuse triangle. That simply means that one of the angles within the triangle is greater than 90 degrees. Next, we're going to look at calculating the perimeter of a triangle. The perimeter is simply the length of the border of the triangle, or the sum of all three sides. It's a very easy calculation when you're given the lengths of each side, and we will look in further tutorials about how to find out the lengths if you are not given them. So in this first triangle, it's simply the sum of all three sides, 10 plus 8 plus 6. So my perimeter of this triangle equals 24 units. Continuing down to the obtuse triangle, same calculation. So my perimeter is going to be 22 plus 14 plus 10. So my perimeter is 46 units. Up at the triangle at the top right, now I'm only given two sides. However, due to the notation on the triangle sides, I know that these two sides are equal in length. So note this side is also 9. So my perimeter equals 9 plus 9 plus 4, which equals a length of 22 units. And finally, my triangle at the bottom right, I'm only given one side, but because of the notations, I know that this is an equilateral triangle, meaning all three sides are of equal length. So my perimeter is 7 plus 7 plus 7, or in this case 7 times 3, which equals 21 units. Next, we're going to look at calculating the area of a triangle. So the area is 1/2 times the base times the height. So what is the base and what is the height? The base is any side of the triangle, so it actually has to be a side of the triangle. And the height is a line drawn from the opposite angle to the base that is perpendicular to the base. So in this example, if I choose 5 as my base, again, it can be any side of the triangle. Now, of course, there are better choices. A side that I know something about is a better side to pick as my base, so I know this measure is 5 units. So then the height, I go to the opposite angle to my base, which is going to be this angle up here. Then I need a perpendicular line drawn to my base, and in this case, it happens to be the side of the triangle. So in a right triangle, your base and height can both be sides of the triangle. So my area here equals 1/2 times my base of 5 times my height of 12. So my area of my triangle is 30 square units. And I want to point out, it doesn't matter which side you pick as your base. For example, if I choose this side as my base instead, this is the same triangle, and I'm going to choose the side with length of 12 as my base. Then I go to my opposite angle, which is this one here. I then need a line that is drawn perpendicular, and perpendicular means at a 90-degree angle. to my base, so it's going to be the same calculation. It's going to be 1/2 my base of 12 times my height of 5, which you can see we're getting the same answer of 30 square units. Now I want you to pause the video and calculate the perimeter and the area of this right triangle. Go ahead and unpause when you're ready to continue. Let's look at the solution to this question here. What is the perimeter and the area of this right triangle? So the perimeter is the length of the border, the sum of all three sides. I'm given that the sides are 5, 4, and 3. So my perimeter is simply 5 plus 4 plus 3. So my perimeter is 12 units. Next I have the area. So it's 1/2 the base times the height. If I pick this 3 as my base, then my opposite angle is over here. I draw a line perpendicular. It happens to be a side of the triangle. So my area equals 1/2 my base of 3 times my height of 4, which equals 6 square units. Now let's look at calculating the area of a non-right triangle. So sometimes your height is not one of the sides of a triangle. Like I said, the only time that can happen is when you are dealing with a right triangle. So in a non-right triangle, for example, this triangle, I have my base of 20. Remember, the base is a side of the triangle. So then I would go to my opposite angle, which is this angle up here. Then I need a line. You can see this dotted line drawn in here that is perpendicular to the base, meaning it forms a right angle. And in this case, my height is given as 4. So my area equals 1/2 my base, which is part of the triangle, times my height, which in this case is 4. So my area here is 40 square units. Sometimes the height of your triangle isn't even within the triangle. So in this example of my obtuse triangle, if I'm given that my base is 16 units, I need to go to the opposite angle of my base, which is this one up here, and then I need to draw a line that is perpendicular to my base, forming a right angle. And in this case, if I'm given the height is 3, the area equals 1/2 times my base of 16 times the height of 3, which is 8 times 3, which equals 24 square units. In further tutorials, we're going to look at how do you calculate the sides of the angle if you're not given them. And triangles are one of the most important symbols you'll have within your geometry studies, because almost any diagram you're going to use the properties of triangles to calculate the answer to the question. So come back for more, and look forward to next time.